What's up, everyone? Welcome to my review for Red Dawn, the new remake of the 1984 classic, I think? I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure people really like that movie, so at least cult classic. And Red Dawn is, of course, about a bunch of kids, a bunch of teenagers that fight off a bunch of Russians. But in this one, it's different because it's a bunch of teenagers and Chris Hemsworth, Thor, of course, fighting off a bunch of North Koreans. So it's a little different. Same results. I mean, everybody dies and things blow up, but still, you know, it's a little different. So let's get into the review. Before I do that, I want to say this is one of two reviews I am doing today, because yesterday I wasn't really feeling like it, because I did see this yesterday, but I wasn't feeling like doing the video. I had to rush it if I did, so I decided I'm just going to post both of them on the same day. This is for Red Dawn, the next one will be for Rise of the Guardians. There you go. I just wanted to mention that real quick. Let's get into the review with the story. The story for Red Dawn follows, of course, a bunch of teenagers. You have Josh Peck, you have Josh Hutcherson, which we've seen in Hunger Games earlier this year. You got a couple others like Connor Cruz, Adrian Palicki, and of course you got Chris Hemsworth, who leads all the teenagers, and really he's not really a teenager, he's like in his mid-20s. But whatever, he leads all of them because, of course, boom, North Koreans come and invade their little town in Washington, I think? I'm pretty sure they're in Washington. And a bunch of North Koreans like fly down with their, tanks and their freaking little guns and stuff and take us over. But they're like, you know what? We're the Wolverines, because that's their football team name. And we're the Wolverines. We're going to go, we're going to train, we're going to take these guys down because they took stuff from us, which I won't spoil. And we're going to go and take stuff from them, even though it's not really taken from them because it was ours to begin with. Screw it, we'll just go kill them. So they go after them, of course, and destroy a lot of stuff, and, people die. Some of their crew dies. A lot of the Koreans die. Whatever. And that's really the story. That's all I'm going to explain. It's pretty simple. My huge problem with the story here is that the characters are just not likable because they are not developed at all. You get about 5 minutes in the beginning of the film, maybe more, maybe 7 or 8 minutes of character development, and it's terrible. It really is. It's just like, hey, we're bros and stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I don't mean bros as in like, like dude bros, I meant like bros as in Chris Hemsworth and Josh Peck are brothers in the film, and they, have a sibling rivalry and all that bull, and, it just doesn't work, and all the other characters have their own little thing that just does not work at all, and I don't really care about them. And then, like, about 7 or 8 minutes into it, boom, North Korea attacks, and it just goes from there. You have little parts here and there where they tried to develop the characters a little bit, but for the most part, I didn't really care, and whenever someone had something really funny or really clever to say, most likely they were going to die in the next scene. So, it's just, why should I care? I didn't care for any of the characters besides Chris Hemsworth, who, because he was the leading man, he was the tough dude, and he can really lead those guys because he's tough, he knows what he's doing, and he's just smart, and he's handsome. Oh. And he's great in this film. Chris Hemsworth is probably the best actor in this film, in my opinion. You have, of course, Josh Peck, Josh Hutcherson, Connor Cruz, Adrian Palicki, Isabel Lucas. You have a couple other actors in there, like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who I always like. But for the most part, they're all just there, really. Like, Josh Peck is just there to be, the emo type guy, wherever, like, oh, I need to get my girlfriend. You don't care about me, brother. I'm gonna go do what I have to. And then, of course, he screws up a lot, and people die, and people, get screwed up with their plans and stuff. And just, like, I didn't care for any of the characters. The actors didn't do a good job, to me at least. They did an okay job, but not a good enough job for me to care. The only one I thought did a really good job was Chris Hemsworth, and for the most part, Jeffrey Dean Morgan when he comes in much later into the film. But for the most part, that's all I can say. That's all I can say for the acting and the story too, so yeah. The story itself is very predictable and bland. The characters are not well written at all, and the acting for the most part is just okay. And the script itself is just not very good either. It's very predictable as well, along with the story. So, what did I like about this film? And I did like a couple things. One thing I really liked is the beginning, where it gets into the whole invasion of North Korea on this little town in Washington. I'm pretty sure it's Washington, and I felt that. I thought it was really, like, instant. It just came out of nowhere. Like, they just woke up, oh shit, Koreans everywhere. It didn't build up to it, which I like that, If that ever happened, it's not like we're going to build up to it. Oh, Koreans going to invade 5 minutes, alright, let's just wait outside or something. No, it's just going to happen. Boom. I felt that immersion into the experience when they came by and just dropped people, soldiers and stuff, and just started destroying shit. But really, I didn't feel that connection to the characters. So even if Korea went like, oh yeah, we need to drop the nuke, you know, I wouldn't care, because I didn't care for any of the characters. I'm sorry. I hope no Koreans are watching this. Please don't find me. So anyway, I'm sorry. So, where was I going from that? Okay, that was really good. I actually thought that was really, really good in the story. That was like, oh god. And then right after that, big car chase, which was very well shot, very fun. I was like, wow, this is a cool car chase. And then it goes into the action later on, which I'm like, alright, this is a lot of fun. And even when it got into the later parts, which it's mostly the same stuff, them ambushing the Koreans, like, every 5 seconds, car whizzing by. Every 5 seconds they would just ambush them, and it got a little repetitive. I still thought it was very energetic and fun. And then that last sequence pops in, where it's like a whole 10-minute sequence of them just going into a Korean base and trying to get something. That was freaking badass. I have to admit, that was really cool, very well shot. People were like sliding around, jumping through shit, blowing up everybody, and I thought that was really cool. And it was a really cool confrontation between Chris Hemsworth and the main bad guy played by Will Yun Lee, who, if you don't know, if you played Sleeping Dogs, he was the guy who played Wei Shen in that game. Just dropping knowledge. So anyway, I thought it was really cool. The action really got me into it. Sadly, the characters and everything in between was just very lame and very stupid. Everything was just stupid in this movie. I didn't mention that. It was just very idiotic. Like, there's a whole montage of them like training for a couple days. These kids that had no gun experience before, just a whole montage, and they're gun experts now. They can take out a whole Korean army. It's just very strange, and I don't know. Even Chris Hemsworth, even though they established that he's a badass, he only been a Marine for a couple of years. I think he shouldn't be this badass. So anyway. I think Red Dawn is a fun movie. It is a fun movie. Just don't go into it expecting a good story, good characters, or great acting at all. Go into it expecting some cool little action, very well shot for the most part. I give Red Dawn a 25 out of a 40. I think the action is very well done, but everything else not very. So anyway, there you go. 25 out of 40, and that's me being very generous. Thank you, and goodbye. Look forward to my new review for Rise of the Guardians later tonight.